Yo, what is happening, folks? Welcome to Gameplay, the eSports show that keeps you in the know of all things high school and university eSports. My name is Collins Manyame, aka Scarra in the eSports streets, and today we're going to be covering some memories from the AGC, talking a bit of some positions in eSports that you can potentially look at getting into, or rather career opportunities. But alongside that, also I have my very special guest interview coming later on. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So jumping right into things, let's talk about the career opportunities I was talking about. Graphic design and video editing. You'd be amazed with how much demand there is for these positions, not only in esports, just in the world in general. And locally, with how heavily digitalized everything has become, you definitely be needing a graphic designer or a video editor in your everyday life, whether it's for streaming, content creation, or even brand identity for organizations, TOs, you name it. And there was even a study that's been done that globally there's expected to be a 2% increase for job opportunities for graphic designers. And I mean, graphic design can actually take you into so many spaces, including even game design, which we've even spoken about on the show in the past. And this leads to my first AGC memory. We had a chat with Estian, who is the graphic designer for ACGL, talking about the process that he went through creating the graphics on the ground for the event and seeing a bit of BTS while he was going through it. Let's take a look.
So I'm the graphic designer at ACGL. Everything you see on socials, everything you see at LAN, the banners, yeah, that's me. It's important so we can do like onboard graphics. Maybe an idea pops up, and if we want to players in different poses for different posters, it's very efficient to get them actually in the pose I want them for the posters and the posts for social media. Favorite. I would actually say the favorite is yet to come out since we're talking now. But my favorite would be the fisheye lens poster from Zaid where he's signing the camera. I think that's my favorite because that was like an idea that just popped in my head one day, or well, on the day. So that was actually pretty exciting, and that's my favorite. Well, my process is pretty unorthodox. I just have an idea in mind, and then I'm like, okay, we need a picture for that. Luckily, Mo and Luke is very helpful with that. They like bring my imagine to life, and then I just work. I just have an idea and I work. There's no method to the madness. It's just on the fly, go with the flow type vibe. It's a great question. I mean, just esports in general. When I saw like the likes of the big brands like G2 and all the big esports organizers saw their social, I was like, I want to do that. I can do that. And then I just went up, looked Say So graphics for 100 Thieves, and that's how I went about it. My go-to inspiration would be Orgs Like 100 Thieves, but also mostly American football teams, their social graphics. I love doing that, and also just normal football teams' social graphics, which really inspire me.
So I feel like this should be inspiring, especially if you love graphics, you love designing. You have to give it a try, you have to test it out. And the best part about it is it's not that difficult. I mean, I even became a self-taught graphic designer at a point. Not to say I'm the greatest or I'm qualified, but the accessories and the resources that you need to grow your skills, to hone your skills, are not finite. There is so much out there for you to increase your ability at graphic design. But moving into the next one, video editing. This memory from AGC comes from Matt, who is the video editor at ACGL, talking about the process of video editing, how he prepares his shots, and what was his favorite gaming titles to capture.
Hi, my name is Matthew. I am the video editor, videographer, video person for ATGL. There's been a lot of highlights. Trying to be there to get all of it has been probably the highlight in itself, because it's a lot of running around, a lot of walking around, a lot of timing that needs to come in. Yeah, that's definitely been the highlight, trying to catch everything and see everything unfold. Ooh, that comes down to the game. So let's say, for example, with Fortnite, you just got to keep an eye on the numbers in the lobby. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. You also got to keep an eye on who's in the lobby and who's playing. And then it's just about positioning yourself at the right time. With Rocket League, I don't think there is a method to the madness. It's just basically right place, right time. If there's a goal being scored, if you're not on the right side, then you're capturing everything from the other side of the stage. It's always on the fly. I think you can't really prepare. You can't really prep for anything that happens live. So it's really on the fly. It's coming up with ideas on the spot, whether it's for the position for the photos, the designs for the posters. Yeah, you can't really prepare for it, and that's what makes it really cool, because a lot of the content, for example, that's coming out of AGC has been created on the day. Last minute kind of stuff, last second thoughts, last minute designs. So yeah, it's all on the fly. I definitely enjoy editing after movies / docu-series, whatever you want to call them. I like telling the story after the event. So it's definitely going to be that style, that genre. And at the moment, I would say my favorite is the Call of Duty Shift LAN that happened last year. I think that's definitely the highlight, definitely the favorite. Ooh. So, before it was Call of Duty, because that's the only one that I've shot, but now I think it's got to be Fortnite, because Fortnite, I mean, it starts with 60 people in one lobby, and you got to really run around to find who's who and who's still alive. And when it comes down to two people, for example, at a LAN, and they're on the opposite side of, the area, it's just about being at the right person. And today, I managed to do quite a few good calls and capture some really cool content there. So it's definitely got to be Fortnite now.
So as I'm saying, it's really cool to be seeing these processes and these guys who have been so well versed in these positions, and how we can sort of learn from them. Because as I've been saying, video editing and graphic design is definitely on demand, and you can be surprised with how much job opportunities there can be in the esports space alone. But aside from that, I really hope to be seeing more of you guys kind of practicing it out and seeing more of you getting into those job opportunity positions. But alongside that, it's time for your Where to Watch segment. And I've been saying we are on a break for AGC, for ASL, AUL. All of the high school leagues are kind of gone dormant. But that doesn't mean you can't catch any of the action, as this week we have the Kuro National LAN. You better be following twitch.tv/Kuro eSports, because this weekend is gonna be fireworks. Some of the best high schools and primary schools going head on head against each other in multiple titles with Minecraft, Apex Legends, Overwatch, Dota, Rocket League. What else do you need? Make sure you're following them and you keep up to date with the action this coming week. You know, it's about that time to take a breather, take a short break, plug in our controllers, because I've been saying I'm a wash gamer, I need my break. But on the other side of this, I have my very special guest interview. So I'll see you on the other side. What is happening, folks? Now it is time for my very special guest interview, and today I am joined by Rishka Samuels, but she also just goes by Rishka. How are you doing today, Rishka?
I'm good, thanks. Very good. Thank you for having me, by the way.
My absolute pleasure. I've been very excited to have this conversation with you, and now it's about that time to just jump right in. So what inspired you to start streaming and then further dive deeper into the world of esports, content creation, and all of that?
Streaming, it was out of boredom, to be honest. I play an unhealthy amount of games anyway, and my partner actually suggested that I try and make it a bit of a side hustle as well. Kill two on stone, and I gave it a bit of a test run and ended up enjoying it and making it a thing. I noticed that the scene at the time, this was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't know a lot of South African gamers or gaming content creators, and I wanted to know, I wanted to network, I wanted to get out there, see what's out there. And when I did, I discovered we have so many gamers, first of all, and then we have an insane amount of gaming content creators, let alone esports athletes and that, which I had no idea about either. So it started with the interest in content creation and then wanting to network with other like-minded individuals and that.
That's absolutely fantastic. So you've also attended workshops and pop-ups with the ACGL team at some all-girls schools, educating the students on esports and the world alike. You've organized a panel at Shift recently, talking on women in esports. What is the importance of educating students at a very early stage, and also the public, on the potential that esports may hold in not only South Africa, but in the world going towards the future?
It's so important. So as a South African, we often are at a disadvantage with the resources and that. We don't have a lot of us don't have the privilege that a lot of youngsters in these first world countries have, where they are just born and they have good internet and 24/7 electricity. They're given a console or PC for their birthday at the age of 8. We have a lot of students who are coming from underprivileged and disadvantaged communities, but are interested in gaming. They don't know what's out there because of, their circumstances and that. And it's so important for us as organizations, as individuals, to be able to go out there and assist where we can, especially with those who are interested in that. So orgs and TOs like ACGL, who are doing the groundwork, going out to these communities and that, hosting events that allow kids to play at these events for free. They can play FIFA, they can play Minecraft, and whatever other games you are hosting at the time, sim racing. It's so important because it sparks that interest from a young age, and we do offer these resources to them. So these workshops that you're doing, that ACGL is doing, is also so important, and I hope it's done regularly as well, because I do think it's very important to foster that interest in the youth and that, and give them the resources as well to continue it as a career one day, or even a hobby or a side hustle.
I mean, agreed, especially when we've seen such a massive spike in interest locally, not only from, the adults, but teenagers, and now younger students, not only in primary, but in high school. And as I mentioned before, you also held that panel at the Shift Gaming Experience. So with so many young female students feeling inspired to come into the space, what's a piece of advice you'd like to share on how to sustainably get involved in the space?
Firstly, it's so nice to know that there are so many young individuals that are interested and curious in that. I didn't feel like we had that even 2-3 years ago. So it's nice to know that there is that interest. And what's sad is that a lot of these gaming events and that, you don't see a lot of turnout with women and that. even though we know the demographics, we know that up to 48% of gamers are female. But usually at these events, it seems as if they are too shy to show up or, be present in that. And I understand, as a young woman, it can be a bit intimidating to enter these spaces where it just looks it seems male dominated, but the reality is that it actually isn't. I do also, do want to call out a lot of these gaming spaces in that they don't necessarily cater for women either. They don't make it very appealing for women to want to be there. So the assumption is that all gamers are COD players or they FIFA players and that, but the reality is a lot of gamers like cozier style games, a lot of gamers like horror games and that. So if events were more catering to a more a wider audience, more inclusive in that regard when it comes to the types of games that they host at these events and that, like Comic-Con and Rage and all these other things, I think we would see a bigger turnout of women in the spaces as well. If other brands and orgs also get involved that typically appeal to women, I think we'd see a bigger turnout. But my advice for a lot of young women interested in getting into the space is, of course, just the basic content creation tips that you would give to anyone, and that's just be consistent, be present, network, take up space, believe in yourself. You belong here, even when it feels like you don't. Your presence matters so much, because when one woman sees another woman at the event, they feel more comfortable being there. And if we can all just start showing up instead of just being behind the screen playing Valorant, in silence, that might benefit our, future colleagues and future generations in showing up.
Fantastic. And honestly, there's nothing more to say, but just going off of that, it's very beautiful, as you say, to be seeing more and more interest, not only from a younger demographic, but also to see more females now starting to get involved within the space. And I feel if, as you've been doing now, providing these panels where you get to speak more about it, educating them more, I think we can probably see a bit more growth going forward. But speaking on that growth, you've hosted the Fems and Thems Invitational, the ACGL All-Female Apex Invitational, and more. Do you intend to keep championing the growth for women in the space by providing these events and opportunities for them to stand out and have a platform for themselves to stand out?
Absolutely, 100%. I'll keep being loud about these types of things. I'm really passionate about these things. For as long as I'm going to be in the game space, I will always champion for women in gaming, for people of color in gaming as well. So like I said, when I started out, it didn't feel as if there were a lot of women in the space, only to find out that there are so many. And that's how the Fems and Thems Invitational came about, was just to bring forward create awareness of just how many women in gaming there are in the country, and the talent that we have in the esports space as well. I mean, we've hosted an Apex Invitational, and we saw how crazy that was and how impressive and skilled a lot of these girls are. We've hosted Overwatch, Valorant, so I think it was, we hosted Valorant one year, so I'm going to keep doing it, and each year it grows. We started out, I think, in 2021, 22, where we had 35 women who were participating. The following year doubled, and then the following year tripled. So we keep getting more and more applications to the point where we can't host everyone now. So it's pretty great to see it growing. I will keep doing it. Even if I stop, I will get someone else to keep going, because the feedback that we got from all of these events are, I didn't know that this many women are gaming. I didn't know that this many women are playing Valorant. I didn't know that this many women are good at Apex. So we want to keep challenging and breaking those types of stereotypes and preconceived ideas when it comes to women in gaming. We want to show that it's not just one type of woman that's gaming as well. It's everyone. It's your mom, it's your aunt, it's your grandma, it's your youngest sibling, it's the toddler. Everyone is gaming. So we're going to keep doing it.
Fantastic stuff. But that's pretty much going to be it for today. Rushka, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me again. Like I said, we've been struggling to get this meetup, so I'm glad we both made the time now, and
Awesome stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been gameplay for today. Thank you so much for joining us. That has been my guest today, Rishka Samuels. Make sure you are following her on social media. But that is going to be it from me. My name is Skara. This has been gameplay, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care and GG's, gamers.